Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome home to Rotary. Great to see such a full house today. This is absolutely awesome. So today we're going to start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, with a four-way test, the virtue reading and invocation. We'll go through club announcements, which we have several. And I believe David Connolly is doing fellowship today. I thought I saw him earlier. Awesome. Well, I think you listed on the website. I'm ready to go. Okay, perfect. We'll have Dad Joe and then Jamie Benty is our speaker today. So, all right, let's start off with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Okay, and where is Brother Greg? Oh, is my time already? It's your time.
Let us pray. Loving, gracious God, we bow before you, grateful for all your blessings in this beautiful day that you've given to us. And we acknowledge that you're here with us, and we thank you for the wonderful energy that's in the room and all the visitors that are with us. We pray that our time together would encourage us and strengthen us through the food, the fellowship, and through all that is said and done in this meeting today. May we be strengthened in joining you to build a better community and world. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much, Greg.
I'm going to hound on truthfulness. For our four-way test starts off with truth. And I want us to think about the truth all week long and see how much truthful we're getting in the information we're fed. Here we go. Truth is a bedrock of integrity on which we build all of our other bad virtues. It is an ongoing commitment to live by what is real, authentic, and true for us. We make realistic decisions. We do not lie, cheat, or deceive. We tell the truth kindly. Our minds, our words, and our actions are trustworthy. Our promises are honest. We do not allow others to have an undue influence in our perceptions. I'm reading without my glasses, so I'm not investigating. We investigate the truth with our own eyes. Truth tells us that we are not here to live another's dreams or to be up against all people. We live by our own true nature. Can I read the back slide? Why don't you read the back slide? Yeah, the whole thing.
Truthfulness is the foundation of all virtues. When this holy attribute is established in man, all the divine qualities will also become realized.
Oh, forget that.
Okay. Yeah, some person said it, and we're gonna get through this. The practice of truthfulness. I speak only the truth. I have no need to impress or deceive others. I use discernment to make good decisions. I tell the truth with kindness and tact. I investigate the truth for myself. I know I am enough. I am thankful for the gift of truthfulness. It is my holy ground.
Okay, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Let me sit down. Here's the thing, folks. I am a registered Republican, but I've been watching what's going on. I get mailings. Here I get 3 mailings: Judicial Watch, Hillsdale College, Leadership Institute, and there's another one that I don't remember. But I've read all of these things, and then we got a paper, the 41, and I looked at it, and I read it. And it's about like the Republican Party and Tea Party want to do, this is political, I know we're not supposed to be political, but I'm gonna get anyway. But here's the thing, all of those things are wrong. They're not, they're talking about things that are bad, that are not, they're not true. For example, critical race theory is nothing more than history. If we don't want to know what happened, why not? We're gonna know what we've done. So as far as I'm concerned, folks, the truth is being deleted too much in the society. And I think each and every one of us, we are in the world, need to look at what's happening and decide if we're getting the truthful things that we should get it. So that's all I got. Yeah, and I mean it. No.
Thanks, George, for sharing your passion all through with us. That's something we can all. Okay, so we're gonna start a club announcement, and I just wanted to say that that picnic was phenomenal, and it certainly wasn't due to the MC of the evening. It was because of all of the people, Rotarians that came together to share some time with their family, show a little bit about what it was all about, and for all that did work to help plan and prepare for the picnic. It was really a special evening. I'm really grateful for everybody that helped participate in that. And I know we have a few people that would like to share club announcements. Pastor Greg, he's so excited to talk about Strive.
Yeah, but before I do that, I want to say that the MC at the picnic was outstanding, and that did contribute to the good feelings that we all had out there. So, yes, I'm excited to talk about the Strive program for just a few moments. You can be proud of the program that we operate at the high school for high school seniors called Strive, providing scholarships and other opportunities for community members to provide experiences and energizing talks that will teach students things that they probably don't learn traditionally in classrooms. And today, Edel Fernandez, our own Edel Fernandez, was just formidable with students at the high school. We had 30 students present there, and I have in this folder responses from every one of those students who answered the question, an idea that I'm going to take away from this session, or some feedback I'd like to share with today's presenter. There were several paragraphs written on sheets, all well thought out. You'd be really impressed with the things that were said. And Edel was just a great representative of Rotary at this event today. We're going to have another session 2 weeks from today at 7 o'clock in the morning at South Central College. And we're always looking for Rotarians who would be physically present to greet students, to smile, to engage, and also to just demonstrate support for those who are providing the leadership for that session. That's 2 weeks from today. If you'd like to join us, just let me know. We'd love to have more Rotarians there. Today we have several Rotarians. Ron was there, and forgive me, I had a list here and I don't have it in front of me. This guy does a much better job remembering names and all of that. Who else was there? Please help me. I'm struggling here. There was, yeah, of course. Emily was there with me, and who else was there? There were several Rotarians that were there.
We were all there in spirit.
Yeah, right. That's right. I like the ones who were in body. Anyway, that's enough. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's awesome to hear about that success with Strive and that you're meeting in person again. That's really refreshing. Dr. Houston, are you ready to give your announcements? I know you have a few.
Thanks, Kurt. I have a couple. The other day, I had the opportunity to go over to Wasika to their club. They're a smaller club, but they're a dynamite club. They have about 35 members, and probably about 60% of them were there. Real unique experience. Some of you may remember or know that Rotary in 1987, I think, started allowing women. That day, our international president is a woman, our district governor is a woman, and their president is a woman. That's pretty cool. So we had a pretty good time over there. They're a fun group, and they're active. Want to remind you that we need to have nominations for Rotarian of the Year, so we get those to me as soon as possible. And I think East Ely Dale's thunder, but South Central County having a whiskey world, the whiskey world with a twist. What that means is that we're having sampling of whiskey, we're having samplings of wine, and samplings of beer. This is gonna be 10,000 drops at the fundraiser for South Central County. It starts at 5:30, goes to 8:30. There's flyers over there on the bench, and there's also applications there for Rotary of the Year. So when you go by, grab a flyer, put it in the place of business, and like to see you all there on the 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Community opportunities on the 24th of September, we will be doing our autumn cleanup on the highway. So that is the same day of the 100 activity. So if you want to get some community activity out of the way in the morning before the last at 10, join me and bring your family too. It's always been fun to kind of see the kids run around and most of the trash. Meals on Wheels is very appreciative of our volunteerness when we had a week and stuff, and so they're having a appreciation lunch this Friday. I sent in 2 RSVPs, so if you would like to go and have free lunch at the senior center, let me know and we'll get you those tickets. If you've never had the food at the senior center, your friends are not old. They do really good and food. So I mean,
Thank you so much. And Meals on Wheels, if you haven't had the opportunity, it's such a fun thing to deliver. I'll never forget, one day I was delivering and I knocked on somebody's door and he said, "Who is it?" And I said, "Meals on Wheels." And he said, "Come in." And he goes, "Oh," he goes, "the first person that stopped by about 30 minutes ago, I thought it was you. So when they knocked on the door, I just said, 'Come in.' It was a door-to-door salesperson." He goes, "I couldn't get rid of him." So he said, "I'm glad it was you." And then, Dad drove time, and then we do have some updates from our exchange students that I'd like to share with you too, so. Okay, so I thought this one would be timely with the recent events here. We all know about Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I've certainly experienced that with technology recently. But have you all heard of Bohl's Law? It's the we slice can. Thank you, thank you. All right. So here we have a picture of Brandolin arriving at Chile. And Brandolin's first flag exchange. And here we have Rihanna arriving in Thailand. And Jean arriving from Thailand. And Jean is here today. Thank you so much for being with us, Jean. We're excited to have you. You've got a huge group of new friends here that if you need anything, let us know. We're here to help. Okay. All right, and so before we get to Jeannie's speech, I'm going to turn the mic back over to David for fellowship.
Thank you for the conversation. Let's first start with our guests and all your Jean here. In mind, everyone, say hello to Jean.
Hi.
All right. Laura, you have a guest? Or you wrote here. Perfect.
I invited my good friend Richie Anderson today to hear James' presentation, and he said, yeah, and then when we sat down, he's in. New member, but anyway, please say hi to Mitch.
I have 3 guests today, Kathy Swinkler, Martha Brown, and Chris Kaufman. And by this time next week, they'll all be Rotarians. So that's pretty cool. And one thing that is especially cool, I think, is that they're all professional musicians. I don't, this is gonna be nothing but better for our club. We had a great orientation with the fall period. I'm excited for them to be Rotarians, and they'll bring along. as most of you probably know, Chris is going to be inducted by the Rotary International elect president, who will be up at the Mall of America Saturday night. And so we were asked by our district governor to participate. And there are 2 members from our entire district. That's 54 clubs, I think, at this time. So we're really fortunate that she chose us to participate in that. I tried to remember if I gave their name, and it said their name. Oh, yeah. Okay, so say hello to Kathy and to, hi Kathy.
Hi,
Kathy. And to Martha. And to Chris.
Vivian, yes.
So I brought with me today Scott Curtis, who's our Director of Business and Finance at the high school, and he's going to help me present. So he was in for the free meal and said. So say hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Right, this week, because it doesn't happen every day, we're gonna reflect a little bit on, Queen Elizabeth's, life. I found some really fun facts. We're gonna do it, asking this question. So, number 1 to 10.
8.
All right. How many members of the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were knighted by Queen Elizabeth II? At least one. You guys want to go with 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There are 3 members that are knighted, but only one was done by Miss Queen Elizabeth. She refused to knight Mick Jagger and scheduled a minor surgery on
Who are the 2 that the other 2?
Ringo Starr in 2018, and Sir Clark Bumper.
I think we should talk with a British accent in honor of. Here's money, Dick, you can steal my thunder any day. Having you for a board member is wonderful, and I just want to let you know that I will stay after if anyone's interested in the tickets, and we can seal the deal and guarantee you a fun time supporting students of South Central.
Yeah, is it? All right, gentlemen. Well, yeah, 10.
I just want to say thanks for everyone that helped with the picnic. My daughter had a blast, and she was like, "Can you come over here?"
Yay.
All right, gentlemen, number 1 through 10, let's not eat. 2, true or false? Queen Elizabeth was the only person in the UK allowed to drive without a license. That's true. She drove until she was 94. I mean, happy now. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I'm pretty excited to announce, if you haven't heard yet, but I've actually, changed careers. I have switched from working at Affinity Plus, and as of this last week, no, as of Monday, I started working with Keith over at Harry Brown's. Yeah. So as the director of marketing, we're Harry Brown's, looking at all that Harry's doing, Harry Brown's doing, and it's pretty awesome. That's kind of the honeymoon phase, and like this one meeting, I'm loving every minute of this, so bring it on, yeah, this is it. So, but anyways, very excited.
Yeah, you guys have all heard about the incredible hometown heroes, the banners that are on the Highway 60. My wife is doing one more round. She thinks she wants to stop because it's really like pulling teeth. She goes in a town of 25,000. We should get more than 12 banners. That last cycle was 12 banners, so we kept the number of other ones up. But she's doing another round. It's middle of October is kind of the deadline because they have to be
approved, that should be printed, that should go to the city, et cetera. So if anybody is interested, or if you want to pass it on to other people, please let me know. Go to the fairhometownheroes.org website and put the information there. Can you tell us briefly what kinds of people can be nominated? Yeah, it's a little fuzzy, and the committee makes the decision, which is my wife. But it's basically, it was originally meant for veterans of Rice County. But you know, we also have school bus drivers, and we have first responders, and we have people that did something for the community. So it's a little fuzzy as to we actually have to be a veteran, but that's really what the program was meant for. But anybody who is a hometown hero who has done something big for the, you know, we have John Jasinski, well, he was a veteran too, he is a veteran. But you know, those kind of people, we can kind of drive around and see who's there. Thank you.
Zach, thank you. What a relief. I've been waiting for about 2 weeks to talk about my experience at that road auto body with Gary Brown. So thank you very much. Well, double dip on Gary Brown. I can see.
Well, I was thinking in this honeymoon phase that Keith would gladly pay her fee.
We haven't talked about it yet. Yeah. All right, number 1 through 10, that's not either 2 or 8. True or false? Queen Elizabeth was the first female British royal to serve in the active duty military as a member, driving with this present accomplishment and fixing mainlanders. That is true. Very good. $20.
Okay, a couple of things. First, I got an email from our retired sheriff, Troy Dunn. I had asked him if he was getting a bulletin, and he said, I am getting them, and I appreciate it. Golf is great, though I had to cut back a little as I am now gainfully employed as the Weston, Kierland, and Scottsdale as a shuttle driver. And yeah, I could be full time, but I told him I was only interested in a couple shifts a week, so I can still golf. I love it. Great talking with happy people on vacation. Take care and say hi to everyone. I work tomorrow, so I don't really was doing it. So that was from Troy. Also had a fun time this week, Keith. Bears and Vikings both won this last weekend, and Jan has been amazingly silent on texting. And we're enjoying this because we don't play the Packers game for 3 months, so we're going to milk this.
Sarah.
Today I found my dollar outside in my yard because I have a dog that likes to take every right shoe or slipper outside, and I was trying to find my slippers. But I found a dollar instead and not
I have to, I'll throw some dollars in here and stuff like that, but I have to give a big shout out to Kathy here. During COVID, you changed my world, and brought me wellness that I had been missing for about 12 years. I used to be playing band, I was a drummer, and as you get older, you get neighbors, and neighbors don't like drums and stuff like that. It's loud. And I went to a ribbon cutting opening, we were playing down at Mighty Fine Coffee, and you made me realize, hey, I can still do this. And so I got an electric set, ever since, I play it, and I think of it all the time, so we got to put a 5-spot in there for you. Thank you, because music touches lives everywhere.
I'm just thankful for President came out to the picnic last week. It was really good. We had a big turnout. Not as many as we originally had signed up, but it was still a good turnout. Very good news.
Very fun. All right. Real quick, is there a question? Give me a number. 4, all right. Which James Bond actor served under the Queen as Agent 007? Sean Connery, or A, Sean Connery, B, Timothy Dalton, C, Roger Moore, D, Pierce Brosnan, or E, all of the above? E, all of the above. You're silly Americans. It's F. Movies aren't real.
A job of mine, I'm grateful, I'm thankful to be here today. It's been busy for the past 2 weeks, never busy, but I'm trying to be at once. I hope I'll be with you guys frequently. Thank you so much for keeping it going. I love you guys.
Right, Emily?
I got two things. One is, Bob's Drive, because I was there today, and Bill Hernandez was phenomenal. And the kids brought so much back with them, but there were a couple of things he shared. One was that when he was supposed to be studying, and he wasn't studying enough, his mother got after him. And he said, well, you shouldn't be saying anything like that because you never graduated from high school. And she said, that's why I'm reminding you to study. The other thing that she said, which was so wise, was, let's see if I can get this correct. The cell phones connect people from a distance, but they distance people who are near you. And I thought that was pretty profound. So he just was, the kids were so engaged with him. The feedback was wonderful. So come to our Strive meetings if you can. And the other thing, I put a flyer on the table. The Monroe Crossing is going to be playing at the Cathedral Fairville on the 23rd. And there'll be a chili. You don't have to go to the supper if you don't want to, but there's a chili supper before. And then the tickets are $20 for Monroe, $10 for dinner. And I have some tickets here if you're interested. So we can do that one day, and then the next week we can go to $10 and drops. Thank you so much.
All right, two tables next to there. I can do one thing. Queen Elizabeth's birthplace home is now what? A, the Irish Embassy. B, the Museum of Sculpture Art. C, a Cantonese restaurant where D is dog park.
Yes.
And you home. D, I love that. There's a Cantonese restaurant. That's what I'm. Happy holidays.
I didn't get a chance.
Oh.
There are flowers in there. One's for Zach. Zach's an amazing person. Feel super blessed to have him come on board very well. So I feel super lucky to have Zach on board now. And my other dollar is for Emily, because how awesome is it for somebody so new to jump in and Strive and warm our community and all these other things. So that's awesome.
Apologize, I don't have money, but Laura put something in your hand, so. Thanks, Laura. Congratulations, Zach. Love it. Awesome. I just wanted to mention, October 1st, at River Valley Church, we're hosting a benefit concert for 3 organizations in our community that we're all familiar with. Ruth's House of Hope, Whispers of Hope, which maybe you're not as familiar with, the counseling center just south of town here, and then the Hope Center. We call it Hope and Harmony concert. It's with the Fairville Lakelanders, and then we also are bringing in a guest. So if you enjoy barbershop music, not typically our style of music at River Valley, but we love that we can host this event every year. And I just wanted to mention it to this group, so you can put on your calendar, October 1st. It's at 4 in the afternoon on that Saturday, and everybody is invited. Again, there's no charge to come, but there'll be a free will offering, there'll be there, and everything that's donated for that goes to those 3 organizations.
Some stuff, awesome stuff. All right, last table I'm gonna do one here. So the Queen invented a new breed of dog when her corgi made it with the ducks. What's the name of this breed? It was great. Corgi and the ducks.
Dorothy.
I know that.
Yeah.
Are you $100?
Just wanted to share, my son who graduated from Sherburne High School last year, he's at Bethany Lutheran, and he's thriving this year, he's doing great. He's on the golf team, and it's great that they have a fall season, not just spring season, so he's golfing right now, and they had their first kind of all conference preview, where all the teams come together, he plays 6 out of all the players in the whole conference, so he's doing really well, and then I wanted to shout out to the BA girls volleyball team. My son's girlfriend is Kate Trump, and she got her 1,000th dig over the weekend in a tournament up in the cities, and they celebrated her last night. And they won over Kenyon Wanamino in a great come from behind game, so it was fun to watch that.
Before I get the mic.
Couple of things. One, I apologize for my tirade on the youth, but I will invite anybody to have lunch with me. If you have a different view on things than I do. I have no problem talking with people with our 183 support committee. I know how to do that. And the whole point is, we got to start thinking about these things and be active, because if we sit there and say, oh, I can't do anything, well, we can. I'm always looking for people that are what I call the people of one, that I can discuss these kinds of things with, and hopefully something to make a difference. Second thing is, we're having a program next week about water, and I was mistaken on one thing I said to people. Our aquifer, our old aquifer, is going to run out of water, and in 12 years, there's farther south of us. I don't know when we're going to run out, but we're having a person that will be knowledgeable about that next week, and Lewis Hinton, what kind of water problem we're elected to face it. That's all I got. Thank you. And oh, by the way, my phone number is 507-323-5239. Give me a call anytime between 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. I'll make a date. And if you call after between 10 o'clock at night and 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning, they go message.
All right, that is it. Here you are, President House.
Thank you very much. That was outstanding. So I've got a couple bucks. One is in recognition of Natalie, who was very humble and not wanted to go more. But last night she was recognized by the Steele County Safe and Drug-Free Coalition as being an outstanding collaborator for the success of the youth. And so I wanted to highlight her for that wonderful accomplishment. And then not quite as important is I had the pleasure of sharing, and Natalie did too, sharing the movie Back to the Future with my daughter over the weekend. It was a pretty big milestone as a parent. And at first she's like, this movie is terrible, but then once it got going into the time travel and all that, then she was hooked. And I had never heard her quote movies directly after seeing them like she did with that movie. And she kept saying, I was standing on the toilet and I slipped and fell and hit my head on the sink, and I came up with this, the design for the flux capacitor. But she's having a little problem with pronunciation, so we had to talk about the importance of enunciating the L. So with that, I'd like to invite Jamie to come up, and we're excited to hear your presentation. There you go.
Well, I'm excited to be back here at Rotary. I've been gone for a while, catching up with the new job and everything. And I was like, oh, I gotta get some happy water. I've been here in a while, and I opened my wallet. And I know last time I was in my wallet, there was plenty of money. So now I'm discussing with probably some boys when I get home, but I know who they're gonna find a figure out. So thank you for this time today. I'm going to go through really just a lot of the basics. In case you don't know, the school district is going out for 3 different questions this fall. And I want to kind of walk through that I want to tell you about the why are we doing it, what's the need, talk a little bit about where our money comes from and where our money doesn't come from. And then also discuss, you know, what type of financial situation would we be in? If one question or two questions, or heaven forbid, all three questions aren't successful, okay? So one of the pieces first is, why are we in this situation? Well, if you look back, it was in 2003 down here, where the state of Minnesota proclaimed schools are fully funded. So that's where we said, okay, we are directed that we are fully funded. And then if you look at how the dark line here is what that cost is adjusted for inflation. And the red line is how the formula has been set up. And the difference is about $800 per pupil. So $800 per pupil that we are behind over the last, say, 20 years. So really what has happened is schools have had to get very creative with their finances. They've had to get creative with their programming. They've had to dip into their general fund, dip into their account balances, and really kind of figure out how to do that. The other piece is they had to go to their local communities and say, we need you to step up and fill in for where the state is not supplying enough money. And communities have either chosen to do that or chosen not to do that. So, you know, this is not a situation that Faribault is in alone. There are a lot of other schools. I talk to many superintendents every week. And there are many other schools that are either going for a levy or referendum this fall, or they're already planning to go for one next fall. So I would say you're going to see upwards of probably 80 to 90% of the school districts across the state either ask this fall or plan to ask next fall. Okay, because everyone's in this situation right now to differing degrees. That is not the only reason that we struggle with our budget. What's referred to as a cross subsidy, right? Pieces that we are, as a school district, required to do by law, but we are not fully funded for. So the law says that we have to offer special ed, and we want to offer special ed. And the state and the federal government pay us for special ed. The issue is they don't pay us the full amount for it. To the point where we are $5.7 million upside down in our special ed funding just for Faribault Public Schools. So I want you to think about that. $5.7 million that we have to take out of our general fund to cover what the state said and what the federal government said we have to do, and they're not paying fully for it. When I get asked by legislators, what can I do to help out? You know, what more money do you need on the formula? What percent? They always want to talk about the percents. Oh, do you need more than 1 or 2% on the formula? I said, forget about the formula. I don't care about the formula. 1% on the formula is roughly $250,000 for Faribault Public Schools. So unless you're going to give me 10, 12, 14%, I don't want to talk formula. I want to talk cross subsidy. And I don't want to ask for more money. I simply want to ask for you to give me what you promised to give me 50 years ago. All right, when you required special education. Now, on top of it, we're required to do EL services for our students, and we want to do EL services for our students. And the state says we will pay you for EL services for your students, but they don't fully fund it. So we are $1.3 million upside down in EL, what we pay versus what we get. So if you think about just 1 year, we have $7 million in cross subsidies. If we had that money simply from the state or from the federal government, I would not be standing here right now. Period. We would not be asking the voters for more money. We would not be asking for referendum. We would not be asking for levies. We would be figuring out how to spend $5 million more. Or $7 million more. Okay, so I want to be clear on these pieces on where does your money go? So our mission around this levy is really, we want to, this is a lot different. For those of you who were involved in 2019, we were selling a product. We were selling a 7-period day at our high school. And it was really easy to package that. And it was really easy for us to say, this is what you're going to get. All right. This time, it's really difficult for us because we're not selling anything new. Honestly, we're in survival mode budgetarily. And what we're saying is we need this extra funding simply to continue to offer what we're currently offering. And that's a difficult sell when you're out there talking to people. What new things are you gonna do with this money? Really, not a whole lot. I mean, are we gonna do new stuff? Yes. Okay, are we gonna change what we're doing? Yes, because we're always continuously improving ourselves. But, you know, can we name a new program or a new building or a new design? No, we can't. The money that we're gonna be asking for is simply to continue to stay in the black financially. All right, so some of the pieces are, we need to maintain our current classroom sizes. We have some of the lowest classroom sizes in Minnesota. Believe it or not, we do. I live in the Lakeville School District. My son is a sophomore at Lakeville High School. He sits in classes at the high school of 45 and 48 students. We don't have that at our high school. Right, I know of other schools that have 28 to 30 to 32 in their elementary schools per class. We don't have that. We have specifically chosen to put our money into our classrooms and into our people to lower and keep our class sizes low. But when people and benefits, salaries and benefits make up about 80% of our budget. So if we have to make a reduction, that's where we have to reduce to have any impact on our budget, okay? And when we reduce people, class sizes go up, all right? We want to maintain our reasonable class sizes. We want to maintain and support our classroom technology, including equipment and software that's necessary for our industry and trades and electives. Our students from the ages of kindergarten on up are working on iPads. And there's been a lot of people say, well, you know, isn't that too young? And I'm saying, every person that I've had come to my house, either to give me a quote for my roof, or work on my furnace, or do my lawn care, has an iPad with them. And that's how they log everything. So we are preparing them for that life that's out there. And then, of course, we want to avoid any significant budget cuts due to the lack of state money. So there are 3 questions, and I put the questions on here, and Kurt has this presentation. You feel free to send it out to the group. It's not private information. This will be exactly how the question is worded on the ballot. But the first question on the ballot is simply a renewal. Back in fall of 2013, the district passed a referendum. Those are good for 10 years. It's coming due next fall. So we've decided we'll go this fall to try to get it renewed, right? If it doesn't pass this fall, then we have next fall to renew it again without any break in funding, right? Renewals are usually pretty successful in communities because you're able to say, this does not increase your taxes, right? I will be honest, because I'm about honesty and truthfulness. That is not entirely true. We don't raise the amount of the levy, but there is a inflationary adjustment that's in there. So people say, well, you said my taxes weren't going to go up. No, there's no new additional taxes, but it will go up with inflation, okay? So I just want to be open and honest about that. So the first one is just simply for us to renew what we already have. And you can see that's about $716 per vehicle unit. All right, and then we are asking that for 10 years. And Scott, what is that on an average home? That's $90 on an average home is what people are currently paying. When you break that down, it's about $7.25 a month. Or, you know, I used to work with, for any of you that know John Curry, who was our school board chair for a while and was a superintendent up in Apple Valley for a long time. He said, if you can go to the voters and say, I need a pizza a month. Well, I'm asking for a frozen pizza a month. Okay? All right, if you break it down even further, it's 25 cents a day. Question 2 is what's referred to as a capital project. Right, it's technically referred to as a levy, and levies and referendums are different. There's a different tax basis for it. So for the renewal, that tax basis stays the same, which is mainly on residential with some commercial pieces. All right, but ag on the referendum is 1 acre of the house and the farm, and the rest of it is exempt. This is different. This is a capital project levy. And what we're asking for here is this allows us, it's a technology piece. We spend roughly $2 million a year in technology, whether it be iPads, whether it be infrastructure, whether it be salary and benefits of those people that are directly involved with that. What this, if this were to pass, what this allows us to do is take that money, slide it into this funding source and open up about 1.3 million, 1.36 million in our general fund. Right, which then allows us to continue to offer the services that we have. This, being honest again, is taxed differently. Right, so this will increase taxes on agricultural land. Referendums do not increase taxes on agricultural land. Levies do. Okay, and I can get you that information. Scott can get you that information on what it looks like per acre. All right, but it's not just the 1 acre and then the rest of it's exempt. This does have a per acreage charge to it. Okay. And that would, like I said, that would bring in an additional $1.3 million for the district per year, for 10 years. And then the third question, we're back to referendum again. So it would be solely on the residential, commercial, and then 1 acre of ag land. And we're back to asking for another $90 per year on the average home. And the average home in Faribault, I think, is listed at $252,000. So on a $252,000 home, it's $90 a year, which is $7.25 a month for a quarter a day. Right? Once again, for 10 years, and that will allow us to continue to offer our programs and our services again. So that is the exact language that you will see on the ballots. Okay. And I know this is a little bit difficult to read, but like I said, Kurt has it and he'll be able to send this out. So if we're looking at this column over here is our existing referendum that we're asking for the renewal. And you see the estimated taxes that will be paid on a residential home per year. Okay. The additional operating referendum is here. And then the capital project is here. And you'll notice the difference with the capital project, like I said before, is where you get down to this row where it talks about agriculture. Right, and you'll see that there is a charge per acre of land. Okay.
But we want to be as transparent as we can be with what this looks like for our taxpayers. The question I get often, very often, more often than I like is, well, how come Northfield can figure out their budget and you can't? How come Owatonna can figure out their budget and you can't? Well, here's what I'm gonna tell you. I've talked with both of their superintendents, and they're also budget cut. But they have enough money saved up, if you notice. This is what they get right here. So when we want to talk about Owatonna and Northfield, and I do not like comparing ourselves to them, but everyone hits me with it. So if they're gonna hit me with it, here's what I'm gonna say. This is what Owatonna gets from their local community per student. This is what Northfield gets from their local community per student. This is what we get in our local community per student. Okay? So it's drastically different, And they're cutting budgets right now. So if they're cutting budgets right now, you can only imagine what we have to do. Okay? And then you can see the other big 9 schools in there. Red Wing, I know, is going for money this fall. Winona, I believe, is going for money this fall. Mankato, I think, is. I know Austin is. I think Albert Lee is. They have a new superintendent down there. Owatonna is not, because they just got passed last fall or the fall before to build a brand new high school. But I spoke with their superintendent. He's like, "Yep, next fall we're going." Northfield is also looking at next fall to go out for money. So by the end of next year, everyone on here will be out, either this year or next year, asking for additional funding. Okay.
Are you ready for a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, the differentials are eye-opening. So speak to me about why that is. Is it because of community values, or is it because of economic conditions, or is it a combination of things?
I would say we have survey results. We had a company come in called Baker Tilly. And they did a survey of the community. It's what's referred to as tax tolerance. What is the tax tolerance of your community? All right. And when they surveyed in the community back in May, and I think the early part of June. Well, April and May. Yeah, it was April and May, and then we got the results in June. That's what it was. So when they did that calling, and I don't know if anybody here got a call, but they were calling people and they did a survey. And what they're trying to figure out is, what is the tax tolerance of the community? And our tax tolerance here showed 75% of the people they called would support the renewal. Right around 50% of the people they call would support an additional $90 a year. Right? If you go beyond that, the graph drops dramatically and very quickly. So to answer your question, I don't know. But what we see is we see it all over. We see communities that pass almost every operating referendum and levy that is set before them, and we see some that pass 0. And why that happens is really the, dare I say, the flavor of the community. It's what they want to, where are they at with their tax tolerance?
On the chart that you have up here, how many of those have a private school in their jurisdiction that significantly reduces the amount of kids in home?
So I would say each one of them has a private school and or a charter school. So I know Winona, Manfred, I don't think does, but Owatonna does, and they're real close. So Owatonna has private schools and charter schools. Northfield has charter school for sure. And a private school, yeah. Albert Lee has at least a charter school that I know of. Austin has a charter school. Mankato does. Rochester's there's a lot of options in Rochester.
Winona actually has 4 charter schools plus a private school. So they're like the same when it comes to us with educational opportunities. And I know Red Wing has charter schools as well, and I'm sure private schools.
So they all add up to all the same numbers too.
What do you mean add to the same?
Well, like
numbers?
you did, you should raise this. So. Yeah.
I would say, yeah, probably, yeah,
I still.
yeah. George?
Let me start off with a couple of statements. First, the two most important things for any society is parenting and education. Now, over my life, I'm 92 years old, okay? So I came to an entirely different school system than we have today. I came from an entirely different economic situation. There was mostly one income families. Mother stayed home, she did stuff. Yeah, we're done with that. We need 2 income families to live the lifestyle we live today. My wife was a teacher. I've got 3 teachers in my family. One was my Aunt Marion, who was born in 1895. She was a giant in my life. My second wife, Karen Lee Johnson, was a teacher. She taught for 12 years of our marriage before she became ill. She never got home before 6 o'clock at night. She often brought stuff home to work on. Called parents 2 and 3 times a month at least. I saw her come home from school, teacher conferences, crying because people didn't show up. See, so when I hear people bitching about teachers, I get a little upset. Teachers they're not perfect as you and I are, but they're 80% of them are good, very good people, dedicated to it. So we've got to figure out a way to get more people involved in education and not criticize the school district. I read about the school board meeting, and some of them are not very good. Okay? And we got to grow up and understand what we're talking, and we need to be educated. We're not doing that. We need to support our schools. This money stuff, you can talk about. The bottom line is, if we don't fund education right, we pay the bill. Now, we talk about crime is a problem. Crime is not a problem. It's more a symptom of a problem than it is a crime. And I can talk about that for a while too, but that's enough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so piggybacking off of George, come join us because next levy meeting is on Monday at 5. And I'm not a person to generally get involved in levies and this type of thing. However, we're at a very critical point in our history here of the word we're using is maintain. And we're not asking for anything extra. And Norton and I went to the school board meeting a few months ago because we were going to do 2 questions on the levy, and with the 2 questions on the levy, with what Baker Tilly recommended, we're still going to be significantly short of where we need to be. So that's why there's 3 questions on the levy, is because give us a shot to be able to maintain. We're not asking to do anything extra, but really like there's a bunch of crazy language on there that's really hard to understand. But in general, it's just like, give us a shot to pass 3 questions. And so we can stay flat so that everybody's new here. Like Jamie's new, like we just chucked him into the fire and said, go get it. Like kudos to Jamie for pulling this data together so quickly, because it's like, we totally chucked him into the fire. We're behind the 8 ball. We need to get the information out. And, you know, thanks for presenting today, but we need people, and we need people to speak out, because there's a big voice on the other side too, that just say vote no regardless of what's going on in our society. And those people are really loud. So again, I'm not usually this guy that'll speak out like this, but I know how important it is to our community. I know what we're doing with the chamber and the school district and the college right now to promote excellence, but it takes a little time. And again, there is a lot of negativity around schools, but why not us? Why can't we be great? Let's go do those things.
Scott, I know you gotta get going here soon, so you might have to tell the auditors that I might be a little late, so. we have an annual audit every year, so it's not a bad thing, it's just what we do every year, so. Okay.
How do we help?
I had to prefer that question.
I heard it, but. Yeah, Monday, what's our action?
Yeah, Monday at 5 is our next meeting, and we have a really good team, but like, I showed up at the first meeting and there was 2 or 3 people that were not from the school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we're trying to do this big thing and we have not much support outside of the school, so I yanked Laura in, and I'm like, Laura, help.
I
And
think I'm the new chair, so. Anybody wants to work with me? I mean, attend the meetings. There's gonna be a lot of information coming out by Friday because we do recognize, Carrie Vanderveen is in this committee and she's extremely intelligent. We're behind on getting the information out. There is gonna be an opportunity to accompany Jamie to lots of speaking engagements. There's gonna be a phone bank, and yeah, just make sure that you're educated. And Jamie can't tell you to vote yes, but I can, and I hope that you all do, because it's extremely important for our kids. You know, to get this money coming to them, to keep all of their programming going. I have 2 kids in the school district now, one that just graduated a couple years ago. I graduated from there. Have some hometown pride and vote yes, and find it in your heart to give up your pizzas every month.
Well, Laura, I like to piggyback on it. That's not only important for our children, it's important for our community. Right. Because when people move to Faribault or any other community, they look at the school district, they see where they're ranked. And we want to become the next Owatonna or wherever, Owatonna's numbers are really expanding. We want to become a community. We want to be known for our school district. So education is the best gift we can give our children. And God bless those teachers. Because they spend more time in my job.
5 o'clock next Monday,
At
where?
the chamber.
Chamber
of
time.
Commerce, yeah.
Okay, I'll be there.
And there's chamber support too, so, you know, the co-chair of this whole thing is the chamber, so just throwing that out.
Okay.
Jamie, another question, and I know we probably gotta discuss pretty soon, but the gap between what the state gives us and what we need. Is that a growing thing? And was it ever more closely aligned?
So here, I'll tell you this, George, you're the guy for this question. What was inflation last month?
About 8%.
8%. What do we get from the state? Anybody know? It was a year. Got 2. Right? Am I right? 2.
2 this year.
Okay. 2 this year. I'm sorry. 2 this year. So there's your difference, and it's only going to get more dramatic as that time goes on. There were times that we were closer where the formula brought us closer, and you can see that in that graph. But from the time that the state said we're fully funded, literally the next day, that gap started growing. Their increases never kept up with inflation. Martha, I know you.
I just read yesterday that the average household is paying $269 a month now more for food and gas due to inflation. Lots of households, including my own, are having student loan payments kicking back in. In January, that's anywhere from $200, $300, $400, $600 a month that households who have those loans will be carrying. So this has to be, I think, messaged in a way that acknowledges that already right now households are struggling just from inflation, add in student loan payments coming again, and now a tax increase. So I'm just encouraging you all like to be truthful with that, put that on the table. Wages are going up 5.8%, inflation is going up 8%. So the working people are behind the 8 ball.
And we can't give teachers 5.8% increases.
I want to have the.
I would love to, but we can't. Our starting teachers, fresh out of college, and we want to say yes. $42,000.
Jamie, look at the change in what the schools are involved in today compared to what I was when I was starting. Mental health issues, and other things besides that I can't think of. All this stuff is thrown at the schools, and where the hell does it stop? And then they don't pay for it.
That's what we refer to as unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
Where we are told we have to do this, but we're not giving you any more money.
And you gotta do, and not only that, I don't know if I'm totally right on this, we have a significant, maybe close to half of our students are of ethnic groups, a large number. Now, we get rated on quality of the grade, level, or the, achievement level. And we can't discriminate by separating those folks from the other folks that are raised up in a society like ours. So that also is not very good.
And over 50%, actually close to 60% of our students qualify for free.
So then we got people moving to Northfield and all the time.
There are a few more slides here that just shows what is the potential impact if it doesn't pass. This is worst case scenario if all three don't pass. And this is the number down here to look at. This would be the total through the 26-27 school year. We'd be looking at an additional $7.8 million reduction for our budget. If just renewal is passed, you see that drops to 5.8 million. If the renewal and the capital levy pass, we're at $4.5 million reduction still. Now, this is the kicker. This is where I tell people, even if all three questions pass, at the end of projecting 26-27 with our crystal ball, because we have no idea what the state's going to give us. They're sitting on $9 to $10 billion right now. But with what, if we had to go with today's numbers, even if all three questions were to pass, we are still reducing our budget $3.6 million. That is our best case scenario right now.
So a couple of years ago, I led a study on declining home barrel. And right now we have about 150 students that are open enrollment in Medford, about 300 that are open enrollment in Northfield. And to be able to keep even a fraction of those would help with the bottom line. And one of the main reasons that parents said that they were open enrolling to other communities was because they felt the community did not value education by not passing levies and referendums. So if we're able to do this, perhaps we'll be able to capture some of those families and really keep others that are considering leaving. So that's another important reason for the community supporters to show that we do value education and youth. And maybe that will help fill that gap.
The light at the end of the tunnel that we're seeing, we're hopeful right now, is that our kindergarten class has gone up for the first time in about 6 years. To what? Second time in 6 years. So we get one more claw in the graph and we get to call that a trend. It's like a major league. We won yesterday. We won today. We win tomorrow. That's called a winning streak. That is all that I have. So, I think Laura said, I'm allowed to talk about facts. I'm allowed to talk about numbers. I'm allowed to talk about impact. I am not allowed to talk about vote yes. So if you want to talk vote yes, talk to Laura, talk to Keith. Okay? If you want to talk numbers or budget or what ifs, then you can talk to me. All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much for a wonderful meeting. Let's go out there, be kind and make a difference.
Yeah.
Talking about your your play.